Hello students, this is G. Kavita from MAM Government Model Junior College for Girls, Nampally, Hyderabad. Today we are going to learn the subject shorthand for Office Assistantship course, first year, paper 3, and the chapter number is 12, Alternative Forms. Okay, last chapter we have learned initial hooks. మనము లాస్ట్ చాప్టర్ లో ఇనిషియల్ హుక్స్ నేర్చుకున్నాం. ఇనిషియల్ హుక్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? R hook and L hook are called initial hooks. Okay. Now today we are going to learn, we have some alternatives for some strokes, some initial hooks. Two forms will be having. So ఈ రోజు మనము alternative forms అంటే కొన్ని రెండు రకాలుగా ఉంటాయి. అవి ఏంటో మనం ఈ రోజు చూస్తాం. Now we have initial hooks for both straight strokes and curved strokes. What are initial hooks? R hook and L hook, they join to the consonants and they form double consonants. Okay. R hook and L hook are called initial hooks. How do we add to straight strokes and to curved strokes? R hook and L hook అనేది మనకి initial hooks. R ఒక consonant, L ఒక consonant. ఈ రెండు కాన్సనెంట్స్ చిన్న హుక్స్ లాగా ఏర్పడి వేరే స్ట్రోక్స్ తో జాయిన్ అయిపోయి అవి డబుల్ కాన్సనెంట్స్ గా ఫామ్ అవుతాయి. ఓకే, హౌ డు వి రైట్ దిస్? ఇనిషియల్ హుక్స్ టు ఆర్ to strokes, straight strokes and curved strokes. We all know R hook means R is right motion. R gives the sound of R. R is right motion and R hook. And L is left motion and L hook. How do we write to straight strokes? To all straight strokes, initial hooks, R is written with right motion. Right? So this is per. This is bur, this is stir, this is der, this is chir, this is jir, this is kar, and this is gar. Look here, all these are straight strokes hooked for R. Right motion gives the sound of R hook to all straight strokes. So per, bur, ter, der, chir, jir, kar and gar. These are all R hook to all straight strokes. Now how do we write R hook to curved strokes? Far, var, tar, dar, shir, jir, mar, nar, inger. Okay, now these are curved strokes. Far, var, tar, dar, shir, jar, mar, nar and inger. So R hook is attached with a small initial hook to curved strokes. Okay. What are the strokes left over? ఇంకా ఏమి స్ట్రోక్స్ మనకి మిగిలిపోయి ఉన్నాయి? Stroke L, stroke R and straight up strokes. Okay. What are straight up strokes? Re, ve, ye, upward form which and downward form which, and the stroke L and R. Okay. And stroke S. S and Z are left over. మనకి S and Z ఇంకా మిగిలిపోయి ఉన్నాయి. Okay. చూడండి. Curved strokes far, var, tar, dar, shir, jir, mar, nar, inger and straight up strokes. ఇదేంటి? Re. కదా? This is ve and this is ye. This is upward he and this is downward he and this is L and R. S and Z. S and Z of course are same strokes. Okay. So for all these strokes we have R hooks. Okay. But except to the stroke Re, this is already called as R. R ki manam malli R hook pedtama? Pedtamu. So two sounds of R we can't read at the same time. R ki malli R hook pedtamu. Kabatti there is no R hook to stroke Re. And Ve kuda manamu hook pettalemu. Why? Because already it is engaged with a small hook for way. So we don't place R hook for to this way also. Okay. Way ki manaki already ikkada chinna hook undi. So R hook pettadaniki manaki place లేదు కాబట్టి way ki kuda మనకి R hook ఉండదు. Okay. and there is no R hook to even stroke A also. Okay? There is no R hook to A, and even there is no R hook to upward H. Why? Because it is circle here. Where do we place R hook? So we can't place. So there is no R hook to stroke H, upward H. Okay? And downward H also we can't place R hook. Okay? And stroke L and R cannot be sounded at once. Okay, sorry, L, R మనం sound చేయలేం కాబట్టి there is no R hook to stroke L, and even R కి కూడా మనం R hook place చేయలేము. So there is no R hook to downward R also, and even S and Z there is no R hook. Okay, so there are no R hooks to straight up strokes and stroke L and R, and even S and Z. We don't have R hooks. Okay, only for these strokes we write R hook. What are they? Per, bar, ter, der, ter, cher, jer, kar, gar, far, var, ter, der. And to curve strokes, sher, jer, mar, nar, and inger. There are no R hooks to these strokes. Okay. And how do we write L hook to straight strokes? With left motion. R is right motion and L hook is with left motion. Now how do we write? Now L hook to straight strokes. This is pal, bal, tal, dal, chal, jal, kal, and gal. Okay. These are L hook to all straight strokes. How do we write L hook to curved strokes? Fal, wal, tal, mal, null. Shall is always written upwards. Shall is always written upwards, and shall is always written. Shall మనము ఎప్పుడు downwards రాయాలి, and shall is always written upwards. Okay, so these are L hook to all straight strokes and curved strokes. Fal, wal, tal, mal, null, and shall. We don't have L hook to stroke ing. Okay, ingle అని మనం రాయము. Okay, and to straight up strokes kuda, suppose re and way, ye, he, and downward H, and R and L, and even S and Z. We don't have L for all these strokes. We don't have L to all these strokes. Okay, so these are L hook to straight strokes and curved strokes. We don't have either R hook or L hook to all these strokes. Okay, now we are going to learn alternative forms. Alternative forms means some of them they are turned with left motion, and for some strokes we also have these hooks with right motion. Okay, stroke R ki enduku? For the stroke R we don't have R hook. Why? Because if we place this R hook, now in this chapter it will become fur. Alternative forms అని చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. Downward R, if we write and we place a small hook, right? How do we write for? Only with left motion. For F, we add a small hook only till here we know. F మాత్రం మనకు తెలుసు. F కి small hook పెడితే ఏమవుతుంది? Fur. అది మనకు తెలుసు. This will become fur. Okay? And this will become ver. V and R. Now these are written with left motion. Now today we are going to learn another form of fur and ver. How do we write? So that's the reason for downward R we don't place R hook. Okay. Now this is fur, this is left form, and even we have right forms. This is one form of fur. Okay. Same, a small hook, but it is written towards right side. Another angle of this. This is called left fur. This is called right fur. This is the reason. Suppose see, it looks like R. Again, if you place R hook, it becomes R and R. So we can't sound it at a time. Okay. So this is one form of fur called right form of fur. This is alternative. Left form of fur and right form of fur. Till now we know only left form of fur. Now today we are going to learn another form of fur. Why two forms of fur? Because sometimes to some strokes this left form joins very easily with other strokes. Okay, sometimes right form of fur joins very easily with other strokes. Okay, that's the reason we have two forms of fur. For not all this, ఈ స్ట్రోక్స్ అన్నిటికీ మనకి 2 ఫార్మ్స్ లేవు. కొన్ని స్ట్రోక్స్ మాత్రమే ఉన్నాయి. ఏంటది? లెఫ్ట్ ఫర్, రైట్ ఫర్. ఓకే, అండ్ లెఫ్ట్ వర్, అండ్ we also have right were. Left for, right for, left were and right were. Okay, for, were, and thir for stroke it also we don't have. See, chusama, for, were, thir. That's all. Right thir we don't have. Okay, that's the reason for stroke s. For stroke s we don't write r hook. For stroke s and z we don't write r hook. Why? Because this is the reason. Why? Because this is it, and we know we have left form of thir. Okay, this thir is written with left form. Now we have right form of thir. How do we write? Same, just opposite it. This is right form of thir. That's the reason for stroke s and z we don't have r hook. Okay, stroke s elo rasta manamu. This is stroke s. Okay, this is stroke s. If you place r hook to it, it will become sir. So we don't write. So we don't place r hook to stroke s and z. Why? Because this is the reason. This forms the right form of thir. Okay, అందుకనే మనము stroke s ki z ki మనం r hook పెట్టము. Okay, so this will become left form of thir as we know, and this is the right form of thir. Just opposite it is called right form of thir. So we have 3 forms now. Left form of thir, right fir. Left were, right were. Left thir and right thir. And even we have thir. How do we write thir? Thir and thir. Left form of thir we know. One side of thir we know. How do we write? This is left form of thir. And even we have right form. Just opposite it. This is right form of thir. Okay, so fir, were, thir and thir. All this we have. Only for these strokes we have 2 forms. Fir, were, thir and thir. Okay, when do we use these left forms and when do we use this right forms? All the left side are called left forms and all this right side are called right forms. Okay, so today we are going to learn this alternative for these. Alternative left form and right form. Ella rayali. Strokes ki ela join cheyali anedi మనం చూద్దాం. Okay, fir, were, thir and thir. Okay, and even we have full and well, 2 curve strokes. How do we write full? We already know. This is full and this is well. Okay, and we have only one form of thil. We have only one form of thil. For all these we have alternatives. Fir, were, thir and thir మనకి 2 forms ఉన్నాయి. Left forms and right forms. And even full and well kuda manaki 2 forms ఉన్నాయి. We have 2 forms for full and well also. Now these 2 are called with left form of full and full, and these are right forms. Full and this is right form of well. Okay, these 2 are left forms and these 2 are right form of full and well. Alternatives for these we are going to learn now. How do we use it? Okay, and we have only one form of thil. Is it clear? These are all straight strokes. These are all curve strokes hooked for R and hooked for L. 2 straight strokes and curve strokes. Right? How many forms we have? We have 2 forms of alternative forms of fir and were. What are they? Only these we have. Left form of fir, were, thir and thir. Right form of full, fir, were, thir and thir. Okay. There is no R hook or L hook to stroke L, to stroke R, to stroke S, Z and straight up strokes. Is it clear? We don't have either L hook or R hook. Now we have 2 forms of full. Already we know this left form of full and left form of well, and thil already we know. Right form of thil we don't have. Okay. Right form of full and well we know. Right. Now we are going to know how we are going to use them with other strokes. How they join easily with other strokes. We just see to it. All these left forms. What are left forms? These are called left forms. Fir, were, thar, and thar. These are called left forms. When do we use them? Left forms అనేవి ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాము? When standing alone. When standing alone means no other stores should follow. Okay, only for should stand alone and preceded by a vowel. We use left forms. All these left forms: for, were, thar, and thar. For, were, thar. Left forms of for, were, thar, and thar we use only when standing alone and preceded by a vowel. Example: standing alone, offer. How do we write offer? Now sound the word offer. O is a vowel, and for we are hearing only one sound of for. No other strokes are following. Okay, only for, and for is standing alone. Okay, and preceded by a vowel. O is a vowel which is coming before for. So we use left forms. Standing alone and preceded by a vowel, we use left form. Ante standing alone ante various strokes ఏమి ఉండకూడదు, for మాత్రమే ఉండాలి. అప్పుడు left form రాస్తాం. For ముందు గనుక vowel ఉంటే we write left forms. Okay, so offer, for standing alone and is preceded by vowel, we use left forms. So which place? O is first place. So offer. See, any other strokes are following? No. O and for. Standing alone, preceded by vowel, we use left forms. And ever. Ever. Sound the word ever. E is a vowel and were. Were standing alone and vowel is preceding. So we use left form. Ever. Either. Either. I is a diphthong. There is a stroke. Standing alone. There is standing alone and I is coming before. So standing alone and preceded by either vowel or diphthong, we use left forms. Either. Author. Author. How do we write? Author. Author, standing alone and preceded by vowel, we use left forms. Okay. Now, right forms, when do we use? These are left forms. Okay. Standing alone, preceded by vowel, we use left forms. Same way, standing alone and followed by vowel, we use right forms. Now these are right forms of for, were. For, were. These are called right forms. Okay. When do we use? Free. Sound the word free. How many strokes you hear? Only one stroke. For. Okay. And what happens to vowel? Vowel is coming after for. So standing alone for and followed by a vowel, we use right forms of for. Free. Use right forms. Three. Standing alone, thar, and followed by a vowel, we use right forms. Okay. Throw. Thar, standing alone and followed by a vowel, we use right forms. Throw. Through. Okay. So standing alone and following, we use right forms. Standing alone and preceded by vowel, we use left forms of for and were. Is it clear? Now we have two forms of full and will. These are called left forms. These are called right forms. Okay. Two forms of full and will we have. When do we use left forms and when do we use right forms? Right? Mostly, right forms are used after straight up strokes and horizontal strokes. Okay. Why? Because after straight up strokes, they go towards right hand side. So, right forms of full and will are very easily written. Example. Rifle. Rifle. How many strokes we hear? R and full. Now, which R do we write? Initial R followed by a vowel, we use upward R, isn't it? So, ray and full. Now, which form do we use? The left form of full or right form of full? See, when ray is going upwards towards right side, so right form will be more convenient. Ray and full. Try with left form and see. Ray and full. When we are writing left form of full, some small circle will be forming. So it is not convenient. So when ray is going up straight upstairs, they go upward towards right side because right form of full and will is very easy to join. He will. Now he is an upward going stroke, right? He will. He and will. The same way. We will. Okay. Rifle, we will and he will. All these are straight up strokes. So after straight up strokes, right forms of full and will is very easy, convenient to join it. Right? And after horizontal strokes. What are horizontals? K, G, M and N are horizontals, right? Camel. No. K is a horizontal. How do we write K? It goes towards right side, isn't it? Left to right. So, K we write this is going towards right side cavity. Right form of will is very easy to write. So, camel. Ca and will. Okay. Navel. N is also a horizontal. Right? How do we write? Goes towards right side. Navel. Camel. Navel. Okay. So, after horizontal strokes and straight up strokes, we use right forms of full and will. Remaining all other cases, we use left forms of full and will. Example, flow. Flow. Is any upstroke is following here? Or horizontal stroke is following? No. Only full standing alone, right? We use left form of full. Flow. Flicker. Any upstrokes or horizontals before? No. So we use left forms. Flicker, left full and cur. E third place, right full and cur. Hopeful. Upward H, right? Upward H, P and full. This is hope and full. Hopeful. Okay. So, remaining all other cases, we use left forms of full. Only after straight up strokes and horizontal strokes, we use right forms of full and will. Because straight up strokes and horizontal strokes, they go towards right side. So, right forms of full and will be more convenient and easy to write. All other cases, we use left forms of full and will. Okay. Yeah. Suppose if any vowel intervenes in between a stroke and a hook. Now, these are all hooks added to straight strokes or curved strokes. Hook and R. Strokes. Hooks and strokes. Either L hook or R hook. Okay. So, till now, we didn't find any vowels coming in between a hook and strokes. Okay. Suppose if a vowel intervenes or vowel comes in between a stroke and a hook, how and where do we place? Intervening vowel. Intervening means a vowel comes in between, almost a heavy vowel or light vowel. If it comes in between strokes and hooks, how do we write? Suppose a first place dot vowel. A first place dot vowel comes in between stroke and a hook. How do we write? Example, sharply. Sound the word sharply. As you could hear, shar, ish and r. R is the hook and ish is a stroke. So ish and r, in between we get a heavy dot vowel, sharply. Where do we place it? Do we place vowels to hooks? We can't place. Okay. So these kind of cases, we place a small circle in the first place because sharp, r vowel is coming in between ish and r. How do we read the outline? Sharply. What are the strokes we hear? Sh, P and L. Which place? Since first place vowel, sharply. Sharply. So, heavy dot vowel is coming in between ish and r. Can we place the vowel in between ish and r? We can't place. So, we write a small circle. Small circle. Did we place a small circle anywhere till now? No. Why? Because the small circle indicates that there is a vowel in between ish, stroke and hooks. Which place vowel is coming? First place. So in the first place, instead of placing a vowel, ఆ ప్లేస్ లో మనము స్మాల్ సర్కిల్ రాస్తాము. స్మాల్ సర్కిల్ ఏంటంటే ఇండికేషన్. దీనికి వబుల్ మధ్యలో ఉంది. దీని మధ్యలో స్ట్రోక్ ఇష్ అండ్ హుక్ ఆర్ మధ్యలో. ఓకే. బార్లీ. Barley. Now which place vowel is coming? Bar. B and R in between heavy dot vowel. Ella rayali. Barley. Bar and L. Bar and L. Barley. L tarvata vowel undi. Okay. Bar. B R majlo manaki vowel. A vowel undi. Heavy dot vowel. So we place a small circle. Place a small circle in between. In the first place. Okay. If a dot vowel comes in between ish and R. Suppose second place dot vowel, almost it will not come. We don't have any second place vowel coming in between strokes and hooks. Okay. Third place vowel will come. Example, engineer. How do we write? Engineer. Engineer. ఎక్కడ వస్తుంది మనకి near. ఎలా రాస్తాము? Engineer. Engineer. Here we are getting the sound of nearest ner. In between N and R, we are getting the sound of vowel, heavy vowel. Which place? Third place. So third place, we just place a small circle. Third, engineer. N R majlo manaki third place vowel undi kabatti third place lo we place a small circle. Okay. Philosophy. Phil. ఎలా రాయాలి? ఫిలాసఫీ. స్ట్రోక్స్ ఏంటి? ఫల్, సర్క్యులస్ అండ్ ఫీ. ఫిలాసఫీ. Now fill, F L మధ్యలో we have a dot vowel. Where do you place it? We don't have place like this. Okay. If there is a vowel in between stroke and hook, we place a small circle here in the third place. Philosophy. Okay. Is it clear? Did you understand? We'll continue the class in the next episode or next class. Okay. Hello students, this is the continuation of the last class. We were discussing about alternative forms for fir, ver, ter and der. Okay. Last class we came to know how and when to use these forms. Left forms of fir, ver, ter and der. Right forms of fir, ver, ter and der. And even full and well. Both the forms మనము చూసాం. Last class లో మనము ఇది ఎలా ప్లేస్ చేస్తాము అన్నది నేర్చుకున్నాం. Now today we are going to look at the rules of it. వాటి రూల్స్ ఏంటి, వాటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఏంటి, కొన్ని వర్డ్స్ కూడా మనము ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తాం. ఓకే. Now I hope you all to write these rules as a notes and your notebooks. It will help you in attending your theory examinations. Theory examinations అప్పుడు మీకు క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతారు. How alternative forms are used. Okay, అన్నప్పుడు మీరు you have to write all these rules with examples. They might ask you for 2 marks or 6 marks when you go for competitive examinations, like Staff Selection Commission and skill test. They'll be asking you the rules. Where examination lower, short and lower apply chesna, లేదా intermediate apply chesna, లేదా higher ki apply chesna kani, they'll be asking the rules of this. So you have to write all the rules of it along with examples. Now, what are the rules? The strokes R and L, they're not hooked for the addition of R and L. Stroke R key and L, we don't have any R hook or L hook. Okay, but because only they are sounded as R and L. So 2 times of sounding of R and L is not possible at the same time. So the hook R and L are not hooked for the strokes R and L. They are however hooked to the other strokes and form double consonants, right? And even we have alternative forms for this. What are the alternative forms? We have 2 forms of fir, ver, ter, der, full and well. 2 forms we have. The first pair of each are called as left curves, and the right pairs are called as right curves. When do we use left forms and when do we use right forms? Mostly the left curves fir, ver, ter and der are used when standing alone and preceded by a vowel. Example of standing alone: offer, ever, either, other, author. Right? Standing alone and vowels are preceding, we use left forms. Example: offer, ever, right? Author. They are standing alone and preceded by a vowel are used with the left forms. And right forms, when do we use? The second pair. These are the second pair. Okay. L means right. R means left. Okay. The right curves of all this fir, ver and der are used when standing alone and followed by a vowel. Examples of standing alone: free, right? Free, fir and vowel is following. So fir standing alone and followed by a vowel, we use right forms. Look at the examples: free, three, throw. Okay. Ter, fir, they're standing alone and followed by a vowel. Vowel is coming after. Vowel tarvata vastundi kabatti మనము రైట్ ఫార్మ్స్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. పైన లెఫ్ట్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఎందుకు యూస్ చేస్తాము? స్టాండింగ్ అలోన్ గా ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి, అండ్ దాని ముందు వోవెల్ ఉంటే మనము లెఫ్ట్ ఫార్మ్స్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. When joined means what? When these curves, either left curves or right curves, when they join with the other strokes, ఇక్కడ ఏం చూస్తాం మనము? When standing alone, preceding అయితే left forms యూస్ చేస్తాం. When standing alone, following means we use right forms. Okay. When left forms or right forms, when they join with the other strokes, ikkada utti standing alone, no other strokes are following the individual. Okay. Suppose these strokes, they join with the other strokes, mainly preference being given to right forms. Why? Because strokes going towards the right side, these right forms join better and convenient and fast and easy and accurate with the other forms. Right side వెళ్ళే strokes ki right forms చాలా ఈజీగా జాయిన్ అవుతాయి without any trouble and without any confusion. Okay, so preference ఎక్కువ వాటికి ఇస్తాము. Not all the words, but some words. Mostly preference is big given to right forms. Okay, left curves కూడా జాయిన్ అవుతాయి కానీ ఎక్కువ మనకి రైట్ ఫార్మ్స్ చాలా ఈజీగా జాయిన్ అవుతాయి. సో వెన్ జాయిన్డ్ టు అదర్ స్ట్రోక్స్, preference being given to right forms. Most of the strokes they go towards right side. ఏంటిది? Upward straight up strokes కావచ్చు. Straight up strokes how do we write? Right side. Re, ve, ye, and even horizontals they go towards right side. And sometimes curve strokes F, V, right? And sometimes straight strokes also they all come towards right side. Right side or right curves join better with the other strokes. Example, frame. How many strokes we hear? Frame, fur and M. Okay, which form of fur we write? Both the ways you try and see. Left form fur and M. Which is more convenient? Right form also fur and M. Because M is going towards right side, right form of fur joins very easily. Okay, with one direction. ఒకటే flow లో వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. Frame. See? Frame. Right fur రాస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? Right fur and M. రెండు రైట్ సైడ్ వెళ్తున్నాయి కాబట్టి రైట్ ఫార్మ్స్ జాయిన్ వెరీ ఈజీ. క్విక్ గా ఫాస్ట్ గా రాయొచ్చు. ఓకే, థర్మల్. Now which form do we use? Both the forms you try, left form and right form. Thermal. How many strokes do you hear? Ther, M and L. Now try left form and see. How do you write? Ther, M and L. Okay, right form and see. Right form of ther, M and L. Why? Because M is going towards right side and L is also going towards right side. So which form will be joining conveniently? Right form. So thermal, all right sides. Right form of ther, M and L is very easy to write. Okay. Now liver. Liver. Even L is going towards right side. So right form of fur joins very better. Okay. Try left form and see. L and ver. If you try writing this ver, left form of ver, it will enlarge the hook. So that's the reason we don't use left form of fur. Okay. So all these right forms of fur, ver or thir joins better to the strokes going towards the right side. Right side velle strokes ki right forms chala easily join అవుతాయి. Okay. Next. The right forms of full, well. మనకి full, well ఉన్నాయి కదా. Two forms of full. First form is called left full. First form is called left well. The second form is called right full and right well. We have only one form of thal. Okay. A right form of full, well ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాము? When do we use right form of full and well? Only after straight up strokes. Why? Because straight up strokes kuda they go towards right side. So right forms of full and well are used very convenient. Okay. Example, and even horizontals. Even horizontals we write towards the right hand side. So right forms join better. Example, cavil. Cavil. K is a horizontal. And which form of well we write? At the left form or right form? Try writing left form and see. Ca and well. A hook ఇంకా కొంచెం పెద్దగా అయిపోతుంది. It's not convenient to join అవ్వదు. Okay. So cavil. Cavil. Since K is going towards right side, right form of well joins better. The same way, navel. N is a horizontal stroke. How do we write? N is going towards right side. N and right form of well joins better. And rifle. After straight up strokes and horizontals. Chusara? Cavil. K is a horizontal. Navel. N is a horizontal. Rifle. Ray is a straight upward going stroke. Why? Since there is a vowel after R, we write ray. So after straight up strokes, we write right form. Why? Because ray is also going towards right side. Rifle. Rifle. Same way, we will. Way is also an upward going stroke. So we and well. Okay. So right forms of well are used only after straight up strokes and horizontal strokes. Remaining all other cases, we use left forms of full and well. Remaining all other cases, we use left forms of full and well. All other forms in the sense, flow. Now flow, is there any upward stroke? No. Or any horizontal stroke? No. Flow, only when standing alone, isn't it? So flow, very easily we can write with the left form. Flow. The same way, flicker, there is no straight up stroke and horizontal. So flicker, left form of full and kar, flicker. Joyful, J and left form of full. Hopeful, hey, P and full, left form of full is very easy to join. Okay. Only after straight upstrokes and horizontals we use right form of full and will. All other cases we use left form of full and will. Okay. Then suppose when an intervening vowel, when a vowel comes, either it may be a dot vowel or dash vowel or first place vowel or third place vowel, intervenes ante మధ్యలో రావటం. దేని మధ్యలో? One stroke and a hook. In between a hook and a stroke. If any dot vowel or a dash vowel comes, how do we place? Do we place a vowel to the hooks? We don't have place. We don't place, isn't it? Only when they come after, we place it after the hooked forms. Or if they come before, we just place it before. But in between, if they come in between a stroke and a hook, a vowel, either vowel, any vowel, either dot vowel, first place, second place or third place, or dash vowel, any vowel, if it intervenes, if it comes between a stroke and a hook, it is placed. If it is a dot vowel, a small circle is placed instead of a vowel. Okay, example. When an intervening dot vowel, either it may be first place vowel or third place vowel, if they come in between a hook and a stroke, it is written by placing a or by writing or by indicating a small circle written in the place of vowel instead of vowel. Vowel పెట్టకుండా vowel place లో మనము చిన్న circle place చేస్తాం. Example చూడండి. Sharply. Shar. Suppose do we place vowel after shar? After shar vowel పెడితే ఏమవుతుంది? Sharply అవుతుంది. Suppose if I place a vowel here, what happens? It becomes shra because vowel is placed after shar. So how do we sound? First shar and then vowel. So it will become sharply. Is it sharply or sharply? Sharply. S-H, ish and R. In between we have a vowel. Where do we place it? Do we place it inside the hook? We don't place. We can't place. So instead of this vowel, in the place of this vowel, we place a small circle. Our vowel place lo chinna circle place chestam. Enduku? A small circle. Manamu intavaraku small circle ekkada place cheyaledu for vowels. Now we place it. Why? Because in order to avoid confusion, vowel means we place the vowel and we sound the vowel. But do we place a circle and give the vowel sound? No. Now the circle is placed instead of a vowel. Why? Because that circle indicates that there is a vowel in between. Now which place? Where did we place? Ekkada place chestam manamu? First place. Okay. So first place lo place chestam kabatti only for dot vowels small circle is the indication. Okay. Now sharply. Ish and R majlo you have a heavy dot vowel. So small circle we place. Where? If it is the first place vowel, we place the circle in the first place. Second place, mostly it will not come. Third place vowel, it will come. Dot vowels manaki first place and third place vowel ostai. Okay. Now, when a dash vowel occurs in between a stroke and a hook, dot vowels వచ్చినప్పుడు small circle place చేస్తాము. Either first place కానీ third place కానీ. Okay. Second place almost ఉండదు. Okay. And dash vowels occur either first place or second place or third place. We just intersect the vowel. Stroke ki touch అయ్యేలాగా dash vowels మనం place చేస్తాం. First place అయితే first place లో చిన్న tick touch అయ్యేలాగా రాస్తాము. Second place అయితే second place లో just intersect చేస్తాం. And third place లో వచ్చినప్పుడు కూడా third place లో intersect చేస్తాం. Okay. Dot vowels మాత్రము first place and third place లో వస్తాయి. Second place లో రావు. Okay. And dash vowels will come in the first place, second place and third place. How? We see now. Now when a dash vowel intervenes between a stroke and a hook, how do we place? We just place a small tick like this. This vowel is placed touching the stroke. First place vowel aithe. Dot vowel aithe manamu circle place chestamu. Dash vowel means we touch this vowel to the stroke. Tolerable. Tolerable. How do we write? Tall. tell, ray and bell. How ray? Why ray? Because immediately upward ray is preferable. Okay. Now tall, double. What is the outline? Tell, ray and bell. Tall, T and L. In between T and hook L, there is a vowel. Aw vowel. What is aw? Is a dash vowel, right? So we just touch this vowel to the stroke in the first place. Tolerable. The same way, qualify. Okay. Corner. Corner. K and R. Kar. In between K and R, we hear aw dash vowel in the first place, right? So we just touch it, this vowel to the stroke. Corner. Okay. Tolerable. Now here, second place vowel, if it comes dash vowel second place, how do we write? We just intersect this vowel sign to the stroke. Burma. Burma. Bur. Which place? Much. Light dash vowel. There is a light dash vowel in between B and R. So we intersect this vowel like this. Burma. Same way, coarsely. Ko. Heavy dash vowel. Coarsely. Kar. In between K and R, we hear the vowel sound. Heavy dash vowel sound. Right? How do we place it? We just intersect it. Dash vowel మనము ఇలా టచ్ చేసి రాస్తాం. కట్ చేసినట్టు రాస్తాం. Second place vowel వస్తే dash vowel. Okay? And third place vowel వచ్చినప్పుడు, how do you place third place vowel? Dash vowel, it comes in between a stroke and a hook. We just intersect in the third place. See, fulfill. Full. Full means we write full. Okay, but where do you place the O sign, O dash vowel? Full, because it's coming in between full, F and L. So in the third place, we intersect this dash vowel. Okay, again fill. Full here, we are getting dash vowel, and fill, we are getting a dot vowel. So for dash vowel, we intersect a dash vowel here, and fill, dot vowel, F and E, third place vowel is coming. So we place this dot small circle in the third place. Two vowels are coming in a word. Full and fill. Full, third place dash vowel. Fill, third place dot vowel. So both the vowels are intersected here. Can you see? Now here, literature, lecture, capture. In between T and R, you find U diphthong intersecting. Right? Lecture, capture. How do we write? Lecture. Literature, lit, tray and chir, literature. U diphthong is coming in between T and R. So this U diphthong is intersected like this. Okay, in between this U diphthong is placed. If literatures, if any plural literatures or captures or lectures, if circulus comes, literatures, if circulus comes, this U diphthong is placed just below this. Why? Because U diphthong intersecting and circulus, we can't place it at the same place. Okay. So this U diphthong comes down. If there's no plural, it is intersected like this. Is it clear? So please copy down all these rules because they are very important chapter. Okay. And with examples, we have written in the examination. Now we just practice some words related to this chapter. Okay. We practice some words related to this chapter. Manamu రూల్స్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ చూస్తాం కదా, ఆ రూల్స్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ మనము దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని మనము ఈ చాప్టర్ సంబంధించి కొన్ని వర్డ్స్ మనము ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తాం. ఎలా రాయాలో చూద్దాం. నౌ ఆఫర్ రూల్ ఏంటి? ఆఫర్. హౌ మెనీ స్టోర్స్ వి హావ్? ఆ ఇస్ అ వవెల్ అండ్ ఫర్ ఇస్ స్టాండింగ్ అలోన్ కదా. రూల్ ఏంటి? when standing alone and preceded by vowel, we use left forms. Okay, we have two forms kada, left forms and right forms. When do we use left forms? When standing alone and preceded by vowel, and right forms when standing alone and followed by vowel. Now read this offer. Only for standing alone. A is a vowel. Standing alone and preceded by vowel, we use left forms. Offer. Since it's first place, we need to stop above the line. Okay. Offering. Just add ing to it. Offering. Even though it's not standing alone, vowel precedes, right? Offering. We don't write this right form. Offer and ing. Now, ever. Were standing alone and vowel is preceding. So, ever. Fry. What's happening here? How do we write fry? For standing alone, and I diphthong is coming after for. So we use right form. Standing alone followed by vowel, we use right form. So right for and I diphthong. Fry. Okay. Free. For standing alone and vowel coming after. Vowel is following. Vowel tarvata vastundi kabatti we use right forms. Okay. Throw. The same way. Tar. Standing alone and throw. Vowel is following. We write right forms. Okay. The same way. Three. Tar standing alone and vowel is following. We write right form of tar. 3. Frail. Which do we use? Which form do we use? Frail. Try left form, for and L. Okay. Try right form, frail. Why? Because some cases preference being given to right forms. Endukini right side velle strokes ki right forms of for were chala easy join avutayi. Okay. Now frail chudandi. Any strokes unnai manaki ikkada? How many strokes we have? For and L. L is going towards right side. Okay. So, right form of for joins better. Frail. Isn't it? Same way. Frock. K goes for and K. Okay. Two strokes we have. K is going towards right side. So, right form of for joins better. Fro and K. Frock. Okay. So, standing alone, preceded we use left forms. And standing alone followed by we use right forms. Now fresh. Which form do we write? Try both. If you write with left form, for and ish goes upwards. You don't write. The stroke ish follows the direction of the curve. Right? Suppose fish. How do we write fish? How do we write fish? F comes like this. And in this direction only, ish goes above. The F follows the ish follows the direction of the curve. F ila veltundi kabatti ish kuda paiki veltundi. But fresh. Aniki R undi kada. Ella rayali. Right for and ish. So right form of for rasam kabatti ish comes downwards. Okay. We don't write like this. Okay. Now thrash. We use the right form. Tar ila raimu. Okay. Tra and ish. Thrash. Driver. Dar and per. Which form do we use? Which form is more convenient? Since D is not an up stroke or going to his right side velle stroke card. Okay. Driver. Coming stroke kabatti. Dry and ver. Left ver joins better. Now otherwise. Which form? Try both the forms and see. Otherwise. Other and wise. Otherwise. Okay. Gravel. Gar is going towards right side. So, gra and well. Gravel. Same way. Novel. N is going towards right side. So, right form. Novel. Novel. Fly. Except straight strokes and horizontal strokes, remaining all other cases, we use left forms of full. Now fly, there is no straight stroke and there is no horizontal stroke. So we use left form. Fly. Flyer, adding R to it. Now which R do we write? Downward R. Why downward R? Because there is no vowel after R. We write downward R. Flyer. Flyer. Now here, we hear the sound of triphone. Flyer. IA is a triphone, isn't it? Now, flow. There's no straight up stroke, no horizontal stroke. Flow. We use left forms of full. Flow. Okay. Now, flap. There's no upstroke, no horizontal. So, we use left forms. Full and P. Flap. Parallel. Now, what do you observe here? Parallel. Par. P and R. P and R. P stroke and R hook. You hear a vowel sound. What vowel? Parallel. A vowel. Dot vowel. First place. Isn't it? How do we write? How many strokes are there? Parallel. Per, L and L. Now P and R in between, we have a dot vowel. How do we place? With a small circle. No, parallel. Which place? First place. So, par, L and L. Parallel. Got it? Small circle is the indication that there is a vowel in between P and R. Parallel. Now, parlor. The same way. Parlor. Par. P and R in between, we hear a dot vowel. How do we write? Write parlor, normal stroke. Per, L and R. Now, which R do we write here? Downward R. Why? Because there is no vowel after R. Okay. Now, par. In between, there is a dot vowel. How do we write? Parlor. Par, L and R. Parlor. Ler. After L, like dot vowel. Farmer. Sorry, former. How do we write? For. In between F and R, we have a dash vowel. How do we write? Right form and see. Right form of for. Because M is going towards R. If you write right form for, and we can't turn mer if you write with right form. Now write for with the left form. Very easily we can write for and mer. Former. For, F and R. First place dash vowel. So, first place dash vowel, we just intersect a dash vowel here in the first place. Touch ayalaga rastam. Okay, we just touch the dash vowel to the stroke. Former. Okay. Now, purchase. Per. In between P and R, how do we write purchase? Per. Second place, dash vowel, Ch and surplus. Now, in between P and R, we hear light dash vowel. Okay, light dash vowel. Purchase, much, in the second place. So, intersect a light dash vowel in the second place. Okay. Now, occur. Occur. Cur is a stroke alone. Cur. Okay. Which place? First place. Now, write cur above the line. And cur. In between K and R, we hear the sound of light dash vowel in the second place, isn't it? So, light dash vowel intersect here like this in the second place. Clear? Nullify. Nullify. What are the strokes? Null and F. Okay. N is a horizontal. F stands on the line. Okay. Nullify. Second place much. So, null and phi. Now, phi we place it. We place phi. Now, will this become nullify? No. Null. There is a vowel in between N and L hook. Which vowel? Much. Second place, light dash vowel. Intersect, light dash vowel. Nullify. Null, if. Before if also there is a vowel. So, null, if and phi. Okay. Now, tolerable. What are the strokes you hear? Tolerable. Tull, ray and bull. Why ray? Because generally in the middle of a word we write upward form. Okay. So tolerable. Tull, ray and bull. We write the outline first. Tall, r and bull. Now what's happening here? Tall. In between T and L you have dash vowel. Okay. Tall. In between T and L. How do you write? How do you place it? Place a small dash vowel in the first place. Taller, rebel. Clear? Encourage. Encourage. How many strokes we hear? N, cur and J. Now which place? N. N is a horizontal carrying second place vowel. And even N, cur. Both are horizontals. Second place because J stands on the line. Okay. N, cur, H. Now this is N. N, cur. Now in between K and R, you find light dash vowel. So intersect light dash vowel here. Okay. Now next, recover. Recover. How many strokes we hear? Ray. Why do we write upward R? Because initial R followed by vowel. So this is ray. Now K. We add K to it. Re, ka. Then ver. Which R do we write? Which ver, recover? Which ver do we write? Left ver or right ver? Re is going towards right side and K is also going towards right side. So both right side, right forms join very easily. Okay. And even try with the left form and see. Re, ka and ver. Recover. Okay. Removal. Removal. Which R do we write? Do we write re, m and val? No, before m. Before m, always downward R is written. So, removal. Re, mo. Now this is re. This is re, mo and val. Which val do we write? Which val do we write? Left form. Removal. Furnace. Furnace. In between F and R, we hear light dash word. So, furnace. Left for furnace. Okay. Effectively. How do we write? Effect. F, K, T and val. We use left form. Effectively. Removal. Which R do we write? Before M. We write always downward R. Re, mo and left form of val we write. Re, moval. Grateful. Gar is going towards right side. So, gray, T and full. We use left form. Grateful. Playful. Pal is going towards right side. Playful. Play and which one do we write? Playful. Endeavor. N, D and ver. Endeavor. Rival. Ri and val. The R is going towards the right side. So, right form of val joins very easily. Hovel. After straight upstrokes, we use right form of val and val, isn't it? Rival. R is a straight upstroke. And hovel. H is also a straight upstroke. Ho and val. Okay? Did you understand here, students? Please practice all the words number of times and even grammar logs. Clear? Thank you.